we have to load this game. And where are we? Okay, we're in Shangri-La. Okay. Let's go up here. Now we'll actually do the correct way. We'll just pay them off and just take it from there. Don't worry, I'm not going to reread the dialogue. We already read it. And if you haven't, you didn't hear it, check out the last video because I basically died in it by dialogue. How did you know my name? Yes. Are you yup? Here's the money. There we go. You slide the credit chips to Mamon, but they decline it, grinning with their sharp teeth. Don't worry about paying right now. I only needed you to agree to the deal. I will withdraw the credits in the future when I desire. What? Now that we're done with that, the artifact you're looking for has been taken by some mercenaries. It seems to me that your friend messed with the wrong people, but I digress. That is not the information you paid for. Mamon lifts their hands to the holographic map of the galaxy in the ceiling. It zooms in, filling up the entire room with stars. In front of you, you recognize the border between the deep and the dirt belt. They have kept the artifact for themselves to sell in the black market, and the base of operations is right here. Algieba. I think I own that one too. The hologram zooms further in on Watcher, one of the system's moons, and continues until it finally stops over a large forest. You will find them on this uninhabited moon. They are hiding out in the forest, and the artifact is with them. The exact coordinates will be forwarded to your ship. Expect hostilities. You thank Mamon for his service and get up to leave. See you, Captain Schatz. Remember, I always do. So, that's interesting. Where do I gotta go here? Where do I gotta go here? Oh, okay. Never mind. Not a dominated world. Because it's an uninhabited one. But I do like that we're on the quest again. You know, it's kind of like interesting. I like when they have these... The game has like gates. Like the jump drive is a gate, right? It's gating you from content. Money is a gate too, right? It forces you to actually be able to do things before just getting stuff too. So like there's all these kind of interesting things. Like 10 million credits is like nothing now, but you know, early game, that's a lot. Let's go land on this planet and see what's going on. What do you think? You arrive at the uninhabited moon of Watcher and scout the area around the coordinates Mamon set to you. It's relatively easy to find some smoke rising from a campfire in the clearing, but as you approach to investigate, you're surprised by several large ships taking off to greet you, ditching the green tarps used to hide among the trees. It looks like they really don't want you here. Guess what's happening? That's happening. You manage to defeat the entire mercenary fleet. You should have no problem landing in their camp now or recovering the cube. Bye. Bye. You come in for a landing, and the few mercenaries that stayed on the ground march toward your ship carrying a makeshift white flag. Dozens of tough-looking men and women approach in uniform but unarmed. They remain calm and organized. These aren't ordinary criminals, it seems. We know when we lost. One of them yells to your ship on a megaphone. What is it that you want? Shoot them! No, I'm going to be nice. Talk to them. You land and cautiously open the hatch to talk to them. Who do you work for? Where's the cube you stole, you ask. So that old thing was yours? One woman up front asks. I knew that mission was sketchy. We're mercenaries. We were employed by fancy-looking people who paid us really well to steal it. When we returned with it, they just scanned it and told us to dispose of it. Said that a digital copy is fine, and the trouble should be enough retribution. We don't know who they were. We didn't ask questions. That might be about to change now. If you want the cube, you can have it, if you spare us. It's not worth our lives. Spare them. Deal. Bring it to me, you say. Well, one of them goes to fetch it. You wait in uncomfortable silence, watching their every move while they watch yours. Eventually, the young man who left to get the cube comes back and gives it to you. You examine it, confirming it's the artifact you were looking for. You have it, now go away. We won't get in your way again, the woman who spoke before you says, and the other mercenaries begin to disband, going back to their tents. With the cube in your arms, you have no more reason to stay here. You go back to your ship, ready to take it back to John. Let's head to John. Wait, was that why those mercenaries were after me? That, like, giant group of mercenaries that... I don't know. I mean, I wiped the floor with them after getting killed twice. Hey, don't worry about it. I did fine. I totally won that fight, actually. You just didn't see it. It's fine. Carrying the mysterious box again, you make your way to John's lab. He lets you in, and you tell him about what you just went through. So, retribution, huh? You think it was the officials from the deep that got angry at us last time? Or maybe Foster's competitors for that dig site? I should have seen that coming. Possibly, you say. I can't imagine any other reason. At least you got it back. But I don't know if it would be wise to continue to work on it here. And I can't just leave the planet for a couple of months with no consequences. I don't even have a clue of how to read the data yet. And what? Do you happen to have another shady contact who can help, you ask? Unfortunately not. And now we seem to be running against time. If only the Quad would be willing to work with us and give us information we need to crack this box. As soon as you hear that phrase, it suddenly hits you. You've met the High up north, and you've heard from the Unfettered that they've met the Sheragi many millennia ago. I don't remember them saying that. Did they? Perhaps the High could be able to help. I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember that. I think I know what to do. You're not the only person with contacts in strange places. You pick up your things, placing the cube back inside your backpack. Well, I wish I could study it longer, but if you have a lead, it's worth pursuing. I trust you'll return the cube to either myself or Albert once you're done with it. Good luck, Captain. Don't get into too much trouble. You know, I don't remember that, but sure. I mean, it could just tip you, like, ask the High if they know about the Sheragi. They didn't have to say, like, they mentioned. I don't remember if they mentioned. I don't remember. Wait, maybe they were talking about the Unfettered. Did they mention it? I don't remember. Well, I don't remember. Somebody can clue me in if that was... if they actually did mention it or not. Because I don't remember if they did or not. That was a long time ago that I did the Unfettered part of this. Oh my god, that thing is still in Ultima Thule. Oh my god, come on. There it goes. There we go. You ask around the spaceport until you manage to find a High tourist guide. You ask him if there's any place where you can find more information about the Sheragi. A human knows about them? I'm surprised. This is ancient history. If there's any place where you can find out more about them, it's the Museum of Galactic History on Mirror Lake. You thank the guide and return to your ship, plotting a course to the High system. I mean, theoretically, this would have been in the news and the High should have, like, caught word of it. Arriving on Mirror Lake, you ask around for a while, and eventually someone directs you to the Museum of Galactic History, a huge and very important place, but surprisingly not a very popular tourist spot. Most High aren't very fond of looking at the past, and most humans have no idea this place exists. The museum staff is surprised to see a human face, and as you wander, you feel like you're drawing more attention from the locals than the exhibits themselves. The place has a very unusual architecture, vaguely resembling Earth's ancient Greece, but clearly not based on any human design. Touches of metal, concrete, glass, and plastic add a modern aspect to its design. Exhibit rooms branch off a long corridor that makes up the majority of the building. The rooms are arranged such that history proceeds backwards as you walk through the museum, with recent events at the front and the earliest at the back. It's interesting. One room you enter is dominated by a mural depicting the High history of contact with humanity. It begins with the Alphas, just as Ambassador Hiyamar Hiyamaharu told you about. I don't remember that either. The mural seems to show the Alpha stealing something from the High, followed by a series of battles, at the end of which the Alphas are shown retreating into the wormhole. Ships then come back through the wormhole, only this time carrying normal humans. The High in their mural appear apprehensive at first, but it's clear that a friendship was quickly established. As you continue to wander further down the aisle, you'll find rooms dedicated toward the Korath raids, their civil war, and first contact with them, along with very poetic recounting of the origins of the Fettered. Going deeper, you find even more sections, a long one detailing High culture on several different worlds and how they shifted with time, another on the fall of the High government that once inhabited part of what is now human space, and a decision to pull back into a small territory, one on the completion of the Quark, one on the completion of the Quark ring world, one for the High trade and military culture during the Imperial phase, and a very grim-looking room on the High civil wars. Finally, after a very long walk, you arrive at a room nearly at the end of the aisle, recounting the history of the Sheragi. See, that's interesting. Continue into the Sheragi room. What you see here is much richer than what Albert Foster's little museum could ever hope to display. There are pictures of Sheragi military officials of the time, as well as their names and roles. Details on their culture, their biology, and their apparent conflicts with the High are provided as well. There is a huge statue of bipedal dragon at the center of the room, around 8 meters tall, so large that the ceiling had to be raised. The inscription on the plaque at its feet indicates it's a reproduction of a life-size Sheragi. A smaller interactive holographic display of one shows details on their biology and behavior. Samples of culture are scarce, but it indicates that they lived under a military meritocracy that valued strength and leadership above all else. You see pictures and rough blueprints of their ships, some depicting fearsome fleets of massive warships. They had angular, multi-layered armor that rivaled the strength of modern High vessels by sheer mass. If your measurement conversions are correct, their ships are bigger than anything else in human space, dwarfing even the Navy carrier. A few of them display equally impressive spinal cannons of unknown capability, with grim descriptions suggesting that they were responsible for the extinction of the Sheragi, weapons of mass destruction in the hands of warlike and immature species that used them carelessly. While you're looking around the room, one of the curators approaches you, speaking your own language, albeit with a heavy accent. Sad, isn't it? I don't think they ever had a peaceful time in their spacefaring history. Let's see here. It's a pity that they had to focus on so much combat. They seem very capable. We'll choose the good one. Well, it's not like we were once to talk at the time. We High were a troubled species too. We even tried invading Sheragi territory. Perhaps if we had been successful, they might have united against a common enemy, and might have even survived the rebellious phase at our own expense. Anyway, it's rare to see a human face here, and even more intriguing for them to be staring at the Sheragi artifacts. What brings you here? You explained about the ruins recently discovered on Zug. Oh, right. They used to inhabit the part of human space that is now called the Rim. Are you looking for anything in particular? I would like to know more about the Sheragi computers, you respond. Computers. The Sheragi built their hardware to last. Very sturdy electronics with redundancies, designed to be able to take a shot and survive. But still, I doubt they would have survived so many thousands of years. If you want to identify how their hardware used to work, there are a few documents and manuals the ancient High stole from them. Are they for sale, you inquire? You want to buy a copy of the documents right now? I'm intrigued. Did you actually find something that still works? We found kind of a storage device, a black box. Well, no reason to lie to him. You produce an image of the cube that you found in your holopad. The curator stares at it and then slowly turns to you with pity in its eyes. This box is red, he says gently. I read a thesis once on the prevalence of color blindness in humans, but in the interest of time, you interrupt the curator and explained that the, quote, black box in human terminology refers to a device used to collect and preserve flight data in the event of catastrophic failure. Recognition seems to calm him down. A Sheragi black box, you say? That's an incredible find. Be careful about the information it contains, though. They are a doomed species. Don't you humans have a legend about a cursed box? What was it? Pandora's box? In any case, I am not authorized to sell you documents. I just take care of artifacts here. Giving Sheragi technology to humans will likely be a very bureaucratic process. I suggest you contact the Ministry of Culture on High Home. You thank him for his help and make your way back to the spaceport, mentally preparing yourself for what is likely to be a long meeting. Great. Hold on a second. Well, let's go, where am I going? Going to High Home, right? Which is like right there. Okay, here we go. Just take a little sip of water. Arriving on High Home, you manage to contact the Ministry of Culture, expressing your interests in obtaining Sheragi documents and manuals. After some time on hold, you're scheduled to meet them in person. You get ready and make your way to the City Hall, where the ministry is, to meet with the high officials who are accompanied by a few diplomats. You all sit down at a round table. You describe the discovery of the Sheragi ruins to them, and they begin inquiring more about it, curious about the state of preservation of the ruins and what artifacts were found. They seem very excited. This is a unique opportunity. Even when our species were in active contact millennia ago, we High never had the opportunity to study Sheragi cities up close. Brief skirmishes and diplomatic meetings were as close as our ancestors got. You'll understand, however, that we simply can't study the documents you're requesting. Instead, we have a proposition for you. Cooperation between our species, so both High and human can mutually benefit in ways more significant than the financial one. Given this opportunity, you tell them about the Sheragi black box found at the dig site and possibility of decrypting it and covering its secrets. With the proper tools, we could decode it, but in return, we'd like to have a copy of the contents as well and to learn more about your findings. Wait, can I just pay for some help? No, sounds fair to me. Excellent! The High exclaims. They chat with you a bit more and the diplomatic leader excuses himself for a moment to take a call. A moment later returns. We have arranged for a very capable team of archaeologists to meet you in the spaceport in a few hours. They specialize in Sheragi artifacts. I would advise you to make room for 3 passengers and some cargo for their equipment. You thank them for their help and leave the building ready to meet your new team in the spaceport. Boom! Here we go. You meet up with the High archaeologists that will accompany you to human space, an all-female team. They introduce themselves to you as Ayama, Raki, and Desio. That one is a linguist specializing in the Sheragi language. She playfully greets you in the dragon's rather guttural tone with strange tones. Rake is an I'm so bad with names for some reason. Is an archaeological engineer who immediately takes a liking to the cube as soon as she sees it, examining its structure. Finally, Desio is a Xeno programming expert. What a word. Who studies alien software and seemingly has a lot of experience with Sheragi code. Apparently, the displays of the Sheragi room of the museum all run this exotic language, unseen by the public. Like, why? After the brief introduction, they each take their equipment and load it onto the cargo bay of your ship. That lady approaches you after everything is in its place. We want to meet the human archaeologists who uncovered the ruins in the rim. Can you take us there? We will start examining the cube along the way. I think by the time we get there, we'll have something to work with. Well then. I think this is a great point to pause and we'll take stock about what's happening here. So, we got back on the Emerald Sword quest. We're like deep into the missions now. Somebody stole that box that Foster found. We retrieved it back. And now we're in the High space. The High is going to help us. We're bringing the High down to meet Foster, do a whole bunch of cool stuff. Hopefully that'll lead us eventually to getting that special ship, which I actually heard wasn't that good anyway. But you know what? We're in. We're doing it. Oh man, we're still uncovering bits and pieces of little content in this game as we wait for the Coalition campaign to actually keep going and going and going. The Lunarium is waiting for me, and I can't wait to start capturing the Coalition ships. Oh my god, I'm going to get those Heliarch ships, no problem. So, leave me some feedback. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.